Going
This
to just
conference
start
will
with the
now be
remaining
recorded.
patterns. Okay, so right click on the apply pattern. Now we know the details master, and I asked you to try the remaining standard tabs in the transaction. Okay, those are similar. Fact box grid we have seen. Now we have the form part section list. Okay, see here, this form part section list, it will not have filter, it will not have anything. It is just used to display the data on the grid. Okay, let me do one thing. I have the queries here. Query. I want to try with query as well. Or let me do one thing. Let me go to the properties of the form, data source query, and let me add some query here. You can add whatever the query you want here. Okay, AMA address. I am adding this one as the query. I don't know what are the filters in it, so if you don't want anything, you can remove. And one more thing, few of the times people used to ask me, okay, I want to use the template instead of pattern. You can do that. Okay, but you should avoid this because you have only list page and details page. This was given only for one reason. Still, there are few screens where they are using the templates. Very soon, they will remove these templates. They will keep only patterns. Okay, now you can see automatically you will find in the data source. We got the data source from the query. Now you can add simply a grid here. Click on the new control and then add a grid control. Now you can call this as section grid. I'm calling it as section grid. And let me set the data source to AMA address, and then let me drag and drop all the fields. Okay, I'm not checking, I'm dragging and dropping all the fields here, not data area, that one and this one. I'm dragging and dropping all the fields. Okay, done. This is a section list. Now what we will do is we'll create one menu item here. Click on the add button, new item, and then go to a display menu item. Let's call this as AMA section list. Click on the add button. Okay, go to properties, and now set some grid label. Let's call it as section list, and then you can select the object type as AMA pattern 1. So this is my first pattern, which is a section list. Done. Similarly, we'll create one more screen. Right click on the add button, new item, and let me add a new form. Let me call it as AMA pattern 2. Because only one thing, all these patterns are similar. Okay, you're going to add the data in the similar fashion. Okay, how we have added the data in the grid, in the section list, it's same. Now you can see hub part chart, hub part grid. Okay, here as well you have the grid. So we will use this hub part, section list, all these things in the workspaces. Okay, which is why I'm creating them. We will use them in the workspaces. Click on the new control and then create a grid. Go to the properties, and then you can call it as hub part, and you can add the data source here, whatever you want. If you want to add the sales lines, you can add it, or if you want to add something else, you can add it. Okay, let me add the sales table. Okay, I want to add sales table as the data source, and from this sales table, I will go to the fields and drag and drop all the fields. Done. This is your hub part. Because hub part or the section list, these are used only to display the information. Okay, we only to display the information. It does not have the action pane as well in it. Let's see that. Okay, I am creating a display menu item. I will call it as AMA hub part, and then go to properties, set the object to AMA pattern 2. This is my second pattern, and I will set the label as hub part. Okay, these are the new screens in Dynamics 365, new patterns. Okay, next, similarly, if you want to add one more pattern, you can go back, and please remember, we have done one small thing. Okay, let me open this. Where is my hub part pattern 2? Open, and here you can see the fields. So depending upon the values, you need to add them. Okay, for example, this is the customer ID. So we need to add the label here because we did not give any label. Let me call it as cost vend ID. I am giving the same label. and this is data area ID. You will get it automatically. Order status, you can set the label called order status. And did you try this in multiple languages? I asked you to try them. Did anyone of you tried it? Setting up the labels instead of hard coding it? Sales purchase type, and this one is total amount. Done. Save. Okay. So this is my second pattern. So like this, you can create any number of patterns. Here, you can create any number of screens you want. It's very simple. You can go to the form and you can call it as AMA pattern 3. Click on the add button. Now we will take one more pattern, apply pattern, and you can see how part. And this is for the lookup. Okay, if you want to generate the lookup, we are going to use this simple list and details, and simple details. So we have seen the simple list and details and simple details list. See here. Here, what is the change? Here you will have list grid. Here tabular grid. Here tree. And here it is a details again. Tabs. If you remember, I have showed you how to work with the tabs by changing the fast tabs, panorama tabs, standard tabs. We have seen that. The same thing you will see it here in this simple details pattern. And then we have the task. Task single, task double. Okay. Let me take one of the pattern here. Task double. If you take task double, you can see there are a lot of things to add. Here you have also the splitter. If you want to split between parent and child, you can add the splitter group. You can say this. Okay. Now again, if you say this, it is again the same thing. Right click on the new button, and then add an action pin. Done. Right click. How many tabs are there? There are 2 tabs and 1 group. Okay. Let me add a new, and then let me add a tab control. Tap, tap, tap. And then here you have a group control, which is used for splitter. Add the group control, and then you can take a new tab control. Done. Okay. So this is the parent tab, and this one is your child tab. Now in this again, you need to add tab pages for your tab page. And if you want to add multiple tab pages, you can add it. You can add any number of tab pages you want. Right click, and again you can select the pattern, toolbar, and list. Okay. Here in this list, you can either add a grid, or you can either add a tree, or list view, or table. Okay. So you can add any type of control you want. Okay. You can add any type of control you want. Currently I am adding a grid for it. Now again, let me go to Solution Explorer, and let me take 2 data sources, customer and sales table, drag and drop to this one, and I will go to the sales table, and then properties. I will use a join data source, which is the customers, and then link type. I will select it to active. Done. Save. Okay. Now I will go to the customers. I have the fields here. I will drag and drop all the fields here to this grid. Done. And in the grid properties, I will set the data source as customers. Now you are getting the data from the customers table. This is the task table. Now it's done. And similarly, what we can do, we have one more child tab. This one is child tab. In this, you can add any number of tab pages, new tab page. Okay. If you want to call this, you can set the caption here, parent or customers tab. And for this one, you can apply the pattern. You can see there is only one sub pattern available for this. You can call this as sales order tab. Done. And then you can right click, click on the new button, and then select the grid control. Okay. And now let me open the sales table, and then fields. See here, this is how we will work with the patterns. Okay. Only one thing that you need to remember about patterns is the errors. Whenever you select the design, you should see everything a tick mark. There should not any exclamation or error. Okay. This is what you need to remember. Done. Task double is done. This is my third pattern. Now let me go to Solution Explorer, and then create a new menu item, and let me call this as a display menu item, and then AMA task double. AMA task double. Let me go to properties and let me select the object AMA pattern 3 and let me call it as task double. So, done. Now let me add this to my menu. Where is the menu? We have created one menu. This is shopping management system. Open, and if you want to add one more, you can add a new sub menu. You can call it as patterns, and you can set the label as patterns, and then you can drag and drop all the new ones. Okay, fact box, hub part, task double, section list. Oh, sorry, these three. Okay, we can drag and drop these three to the patterns here. Done. We are done now. Now let's do a rebuild, and then we will see how it works. Okay, so creating patterns is very simple. Creating and working with patterns is very simple. Only one thing you need to understand is about the preview pane and the pattern tab. Okay, you need to check that there are no errors in your pattern. Done. Let it build. We will see it on the front end. Okay, build got completed successfully. Let me open Internet Explorer, just a second. And see here, I want you to set up Power BI. And for that, first of all, I want you all to download Power BI. Okay, you can download the standalone version of Power BI and then you can install it. Let me show you just a second. In the meantime, it loads. You can type Power BI offline installer. Okay, because if you use online one, that would be a problem here. The second link, it will give you the Power BI desktop version. And yeah, I want you to download this. Because nowadays they are giving the store version, okay, which is not going to work for us. So you need Power BI desktop. Just a second, let me ping this one. I want to check whether it is working or not. Seems like the offline installer they have deprecated and they have given me the new link. Okay, yeah, this is working. Okay, you can download based on your version, whether it is x64 or whether x32, you can download it. Okay, that is the link. Oh, what happened? Okay, so please download the Power BI, because we will be seeing how to work with Power BI reports and how to integrate in Dynamics 365 screens. Okay, so I want you to download this and install this. Okay, installation as well is very simple. It's not a big deal. You can simply run and you can directly install it. Anyways, data entities and connectivity, all those things I will show you later on. But first of all, to show you Power BI control on the screen, I want you to download this. Okay, let it install. It's very simple. Now we are on the front end. Let me go to shopping management system. Now you can see the patterns and I have the hub part here. You can see how the hub part look like. Okay, so it does not have filter. You cannot modify. If you want to view only records, if the requirement is only to view the records, then you can go with hub part, because there is no filter, nothing. Okay, next, section list. Only view the records, nothing else. But seems like we have applied some default filter. If you want, you can remove that filter. Hyderabad is applied. Okay, if you remove and if you apply, then you will get all the records. Okay, and the next one, task double. This will show two grids. Okay, this is the top grid and this is the bottom grid. Okay, and this is the second one. You can see the records of the second one. If you have this kind of requirement, you can use the task double, both the screens. And if you want to create new records, you can create a new one. Okay, here it is allowed. You can create a new record here. You can see here as well it is a new. You can create a new records from here. You can delete and save, because we have action pane. Okay, please remember, These are the three patterns, and which are very simple. Similarly, we have few more patterns. We will see them. Okay. Now you can see launch Power BI desktop. I don't want to launch it now. I want to just install it. So please do the installation of Power BI, because mostly tomorrow or day after tomorrow, depending on the time, I will show you workspaces. Okay, done. So this is about these three patterns. I hope you understood about the installation and about the patterns. Let me remove sync just a second, because it is taking a lot of time. Now in these forms, I want to add a new item, and I want to discuss one last pattern. Okay, AMA table of contents. Okay, so this is very interesting pattern, because in this table of contents, generally we will be using this for, why we will be using table of contents pattern? We will be using table of contents pattern for parameters. Okay, if you want to set the parameters, okay, for example, if you remember, I showed you the accounts receivable parameters. Okay, default parameters, if you want to set, then we will use the pattern called table of contents. What's the pattern name? Table of contents. Okay, and here you can see it is expecting only one control, which is tab. Okay, it is expecting only one control, which is tab. So right click on the new button, and then you can create a tab. Okay, and few times what developers used to do is, okay, if you right click, there it is shown as tabs now. Let me add one more tab, new, and then let me add one more tab, and then you can see here, what did it say? Unmatched controls. Okay, this mistake I saw almost with every developer. Okay, they will simply add the unmatched controls. It will not throw error when you are building the code. When you are opening the screen, it will show that. Whereas if you do a full build during the deployment, it will fail. You should not add unmatched controls if you are using the pattern. If you want to do this, use a custom pattern. Okay, if you want to add whatever the controls you wish, use a custom pattern. Please remember, now the error is gone. Now let me go to the properties of this tab, and you can see there are very least properties. Let me call this as table of contents. Okay, and in this you can add any number of tab pages, new tab page, new tab page, new tab page, any number of tab pages you can add here. You can see. Okay, there are 3 tab pages. Now again, this tab page, I will call it as primitive controls. Up to now, you know what are bound controls, because all the controls, and then we have seen the calculated control. Okay, we have not calculated, but I bought the data from display method. Okay, that is also bound to the display method. Now what we will do is, we will see unbound controls. In this primitive controls, right click and then add whatever the control you want. So what are the primitive controls? We have date, we have, oh, now as well it says unmatched control. Can you say this? It is very interesting. Okay, caption, I will give it as primitive controls. And now you can see there is a title group. So right click on the new button, and then you can create a new group control, and it is expecting a static text. For this group as well, you can give the text primitive, and then you need to add a static text control for this. Okay, the static text is used to display some text here, some hard-coded text which cannot be modified. Whereas in the string edit, there is a possibility of modifying the text. Whereas in the static text, we cannot modify. Primitive controls. Okay, and based on wherever you need, you can set the caption. Okay, because we have set at the tab page level and then multiple places. Okay, now what I want to do is, I want to copy this, I want to paste it here. Got it. I want to paste it here. Okay, now you can see currently I will not set any caption for this one, and for this as well I will set some tab page 2, and this one, instead of calling primitive controls, I will call this as tab page 1. Okay, and this one I will call it as tab page. Done. Okay, now we will see this tab page 2 and 3 later on. First of all, here I have created the group control, and then I need to create one more group or tab. Okay, let me create a group control, a tab control here. Okay, this is my tab, and then for this you can add any number of tab pages. Okay, I have added 3 tab pages. You can set again the sub patterns, the same thing as usual. Okay, we will see this list panel later on. I will show you how to work with that. Done. Similarly, you can add apply pattern, fields and field groups, apply pattern, fields and field groups. Done. Now we got them. Right click on the new button. I will add date control. I will add date time control. Okay, and I will call this as, I will set the label as date. Okay, and I will set the label as date time. Okay, done. Now these two controls I will add in this tab page, and this is my second tab page. Here what I will do is I will click on the new button. Date is finished, date time is finished. I will add grid group GUID. Okay, set the label as GUID. By default it will not show anything. We will set some default value by using setting auto declaration to yes. Save. And let me add a few more controls. GUID int 64. Okay, and I will call this as int 64. Next, I have one more tab page here. Right click, new, and then you can add the integer. You can add the real. You can add one more control called string. Okay, you can add string. You can add again. So like this, you can add any number of controls you want. Okay, new, and you can add the time. Okay, now let me set some good labels. I will call this as int. I will call this as real. I will call this as string. I will call this as time. Okay, done. Now if I want to use these controls, I want to initialize them. Okay, now what I will do is I will override the method called run. Okay, where is run method? Because we need to write business logic in run method. Okay, if you want to do this in the init method as well, you can do that. That's up to you. Okay, but preferably the control values are initialized in run method. This is form GUID control 1. You can take this form GUID control 1 dot let me check. No, not text value. If I open the bracket, it's expecting GUID. I can say new GUID. New GUID. Done. Save. Got it. As simple as this here. Okay. Similarly, if you want to get the value, what you will do? What you will do? Okay. Let me do one thing. I will go to this table of contents, and let's say I have this real control. In the methods, I will override, and let me take a method called modify when the real control is modified. And here what I will do is I will use, oh, this real control I need to set, oh sorry, auto declaration to yes. Let me do that. Where is my real control? This is the real control. Go to properties, set auto declaration to yes, save, and then Here I will use info. Okay. Inside the bracket, strfmt %1, comma form real control 1. Is that right? I forgot the name. Real control 1. Real control 1 dot value str inside the bracket, close, and then put a semicolon. Let's see what it displays. Okay, so this is about the table of contents and how to add the tabs and how to add the controls. So all these are unbound controls because those are not bound to the database. Okay, now let me add a new item and let me create a display menu item for AMA table of contents. And let me go to properties, set the object to AMA table of contents. And here set the label table of contents. Done. Save. Okay. Now let's do a rebuild and we will see how it is getting displayed and how we are getting the values. Let's see that. Great. Build got completed. Now let me go to the front end back again. And let me open the front end. And how about your practice here? How is it going? Is it running or crawling or walking? How is your practice?
Going slow.
Okay, it's going slow. Okay, then you need to make it fast.
Kumar, what will be the topics for tomorrow? I won't be able to join tomorrow. So just asking.
Forms.
Okay. So different patterns only.
I will discuss workspaces and then how to create. Depends again, because if
Okay.
table of contents is finished, then I will discuss on workspaces. Otherwise, we will see a few more controls and then how to work with the list panel and all the stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, just a second, it's still loading. Okay, let me go to shopping management system. And oh, we have not added here. Very bad. I forgot to add it to the menu. Just a second, let me add it. Okay. So now this is done. Let me open the front end back again. Oh, it's already 8:43. Okay, just a second here. Let me go to shopping management system, table of contents. Okay, now it should open our table of contents form. Let's say it. Now you can see these are the date controls. Okay. Oh, what happened? Actually, it can show only two controls here. What about my other controls? Because we have created tabs now. Why they are not getting displayed? Because if you see here, in the table of contents screen, I have added how many tabs? This is tab page 4, tab page control 1, and you can see 1, 2, 3. How many controls are there? There are 3 tab page controls, but it is displaying only 1. What about others? What about others? Can anyone tell me why it is not displaying? Because you can see primitive controls, this is tab page 2, and here we did not add anything. This is tab page 3, we did not add anything here. Why? Why? Can anyone tell me? It is displaying only date and time controls and not the other controls. Can anyone tell me why? I want you to add this and I want you to try this. Okay? Because it's the matter of few very minor changes. I want you to try this. Okay? And tell me why it has failed. Don't worry. Anyways, I'm going to show you this tomorrow. But I want you to try this piece and tell me what is the issue. Okay? Because if you can understand what is the exception, then you would be able to learn it very easily. Okay? Yeah, try it out. Now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any questions. If there are no queries, I will end session for everyone. Okay, thanks all for the session. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time. Thank you all. Bye.